Welcome back to Speak English Corner, a calm space where we explore the mind, heal our inner world, and learn to see life with a little more clarity and hope, one gentle reflection at a time. Today's episode is called How to Think Positively in Any Situation. And before we begin, I want to say this clearly. Thinking positively does not mean pretending everything is fine. It doesn't mean forcing yourself to smile when your heart feels heavy, or denying the reality of your struggles. Positive thinking isn't fake. It's not about ignoring the dark. It's about learning to find the light, even if it's just a small one, right where you are. Because the truth is, life is full of moments we don't expect. Plans fall apart. People disappoint us. Opportunities slip away. And sometimes we wake up and just feel off without really knowing why. In those moments, it's so easy for the mind to spiral. A small setback becomes a catastrophe. One negative comment becomes a whole narrative about not being good enough. One difficult day becomes a reflection of our entire life, and it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're dramatic. It's simply because the human mind was built to notice danger first, problems first, and what's missing first. Your mind is not against you. It's trying to protect you. But sometimes, in trying to keep you safe, it keeps you scared. That's why today's episode matters. Because when you understand your mind, how it works, why it reacts the way it does, you become free to guide it instead of being controlled by it. You begin to see that every situation has more than one story, more than one angle, more than one meaning. And the meaning you choose can change everything. Not because it magically fixes your problems, but because it affects the way you show up, the way you feel, the way you cope, and the way you continue. A positive mindset is not a shortcut. It's a quiet strength, a decision to keep your heart open even when life feels confusing or unfair. It's the moment you tell yourself, I don't know how this will play out yet, but I know I will handle it. I don't understand why this is happening, but I trust myself to grow through it. I feel scared right now, but I also know this feeling isn't the end of the story. Positive thinking is choosing to believe that there is a path forward. Even if you can't see it yet, it's choosing curiosity over fear, hope over helplessness, patience over panic, and compassion over self-criticism. So as we begin today's episode, I invite you to take a gentle breath. Let go of the pressure to think happy. Let go of the idea that you must fix everything immediately. Let go of the belief that you need to be strong all the time. You're not here to force positivity. You're here to understand it, to practice it, to let it grow slowly inside you, like a seed learning how to reach the light. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of this episode, you'll feel a little lighter, a little more open, a little more able to choose thoughts that don't drain you, but support you, because you deserve a life that feels spacious inside. You deserve a mind that speaks to you with kindness. You deserve the freedom to see the world and yourself through gentler eyes. This is the beginning. Let's take the first step together. Asterisk, asterisk. If you've ever wondered why your mind jumps to the worst case scenario, why one small problem can ruin your whole day, or why negative thoughts sometimes feel louder than anything positive, just know this: it's not your fault. It's not a flaw in your character. It's simply how the human mind works. You were built to survive, not to be endlessly joyful. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors faced real dangers, wild animals, unpredictable environments, constant threats. The people who survived were the ones whose brains noticed danger quickly. Their minds scanned the world for what could go wrong long before they looked for what was going well. And today, even though most of us are no longer running from lions, our minds are still wired the same way. This is called the negativity bias. The brain's natural tendency to pay more attention to the negative than the positive. In other words, your mind is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you. When you're stressed or uncertain or tired, the mind activates its ancient alarm system. Suddenly, everything feels more threatening. A small mistake becomes, "I am a failure." A quiet message becomes, "They don't like me." A plan changing becomes, "Everything is falling apart." A single bad moment becomes, "My life is going nowhere." Your brain magnifies problems because it wants to keep you safe. But safety and happiness don't always come from the same place. Your mind prefers clarity. If the clarity is negative, humans dislike the unknown more than they dislike something bad. The brain finds certainty comforting, even if the certainty is painful. For example, thinking it won't work feels safer than thinking maybe it will. Maybe it won't. At least the negative answer is definite. At least it prepares you for disappointment. This is why many people expect the worst. Not because they're pessimistic, but because uncertainty scares them more than negativity. But here's the gentle truth. You don't need to live this way anymore. You're not in danger. You're not a child seeking safety. You're an adult with a mind that can be retrained. Negative thoughts also grow from old wounds. If you were criticized often, you may expect criticism now. If you were compared, you may assume you're behind. If love once felt conditional, you may fear not being enough. So when a negative thought appears, sometimes it's not about the present moment at all. It's the echo of a memory trying to protect you from being hurt again. That's why some situations trigger you more deeply than others. The reaction isn't about now, it's about before. But when you understand this, something beautiful happens. You stop fighting your mind and start listening to it with compassion. You begin to see that your mind is not your enemy. It's simply a child carrying old fears, trying desperately to keep you safe. And like any child, what it truly needs is not punishment, but understanding. Your brain magnifies what you focus on. Think of your mind like the lens of a camera. Whatever you point it toward becomes your reality. If you focus on problems, your brain will find more problems. If you focus on fear, your brain will notice every threat. If you focus on what's missing, you will always feel incomplete. This is not because your life is bad, it's because your attention is powerful. And the beautiful thing is, you can choose where to place it. You can train your mind to look for what's working, not just what's breaking. To notice small blessings, not just small inconveniences. To shift from what if everything goes wrong, to what if something goes right. This isn't blind optimism. It's balanced awareness. It's learning to give the positive a chance to exist in a mind that has been trained to expect the negative first. Negativity is the starting point, but not the ending. Every human mind begins with negative thinking. It's the default setting. It's ancient programming, but you are not stuck with this programming. You can update it. You can retrain it. You can teach your mind to pause before assuming the worst and to breathe before spiraling. You can become the gentle guide your mind has always needed. Just imagine for a moment how different your days would feel if you could catch a negative thought before it grew. If you could say, I see this thought, but I'm not going to believe it right away. Imagine what would change if your first response was curiosity instead of fear, hope instead of panic, compassion instead of self-blame. This is what positive thinking truly means. Not forcing yourself to be cheerful, but slowly teaching your mind a new way to see the world, a way that feels lighter, kinder, more open, more free. Your mind may default to negativity, but your soul does not. Your soul was made for light, for expansion, for growth, for the quiet courage to choose thoughts that support your life instead of those that shrink it. And today, you've already taken the first step by understanding why negativity exists and why it's not your fault. From here, we can learn how to gently shift it. One thought, one breath, one moment at a time. Life doesn't always unfold the way we hope. Sometimes, even when we try our best, things fall apart. Plans break. People change. Unexpected challenges appear out of nowhere. And when those moments come, it's natural for the mind to tighten, to panic, to assume the worst. It's as if darkness spreads quickly, faster than any light can catch up. But here's the truth we often forget. Light doesn't need to be loud to be real. It doesn't need to be bright to guide you. Sometimes it shows up quietly, like a soft glow behind a cloud, barely visible but still there, waiting for you to notice it. And often, that light appears in places we never thought to look. There's a small story I want to share with you. Imagine a person walking through a dense forest at dusk. The deeper they go, the darker it becomes. The shadows grow longer. The air grows heavier, and every snap of a twig feels like a sign they're lost. At first, fear takes over. What if I can't find my way out? What if this night never ends? But after a while, as their eyes adjust, they begin to notice something new. A faint path forming beneath their feet. The soft outline of trees gently guiding them. A quiet glow in the distance. Maybe the moon, maybe an opening in the woods. Maybe simply a reflection of hope. Nothing about the situation changed. The darkness is still there. The forest is still deep. The path is still uncertain, but something inside them softened. Their mind shifted from panic to presence, and with that shift, they could finally see the light that had been there all along. This is how difficult moments work in real life. You may not be able to change the situation right away. You may not be able to fix the problem immediately, but you can adjust your inner lens. And sometimes, that is enough to reveal a new way forward. The light is rarely in the event itself. The light is in the way you choose to see it. Think of some of the hardest moments you've lived through. Times you felt lost, uncertain, defeated. At the time, it felt like the end. But looking back now, you can see hints of light you didn't notice before. A conversation that comforted you. A lesson you learned, a strength you discovered, a clarity that emerged, a part of yourself that grew braver, softer, wiser. Even pain carries seeds of growth, not because suffering is noble, but because humans are incredibly resilient. We break, we bend, we hurt, but we also heal. We adapt, we rise again, and in that rising, we often find light that was invisible when we were overwhelmed. Let me share another image with you. Have you ever watched a sunrise on a cloudy morning? At first, the sky looks grey, heavy, and closed. You might even think the sun won't appear at all. But then something subtle happens, a soft glow behind the clouds. So gentle you almost miss it. The light isn't bright yet. It's not strong. It doesn't burst into the sky with fireworks. It just grows quietly, patiently, slowly pushing away the darkness until the whole sky shifts. That's how hope works. That's how light returns. Not in a dramatic instant, but through small, almost invisible changes that gently open the heart. Again, even the darkest clouds cannot stop the morning from coming. And maybe that's what positive thinking really is. Not forcing yourself to believe everything is good, but allowing yourself to believe that good can still appear. It's not pretending you're happy. It's recognizing you're healing. It's not denying your pain. It's remembering you're not defined by it. Sometimes the light you find is just a moment of clarity, a breath, a pause, a single reassuring thought. I'll get through this. Sometimes the light is someone showing up for you in a way you didn't expect. Sometimes it's a tiny shift in your mindset, the willingness to see the situation from a different angle. And sometimes the light is simply the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still trying. That in itself is hope glowing quietly inside you. Positive thinking isn't about forcing sunlight into a storm. It's about noticing the small openings, the cracks where light gently enters. It's about saying, this moment is hard, but it's not the whole story. I don't see the path yet, but I trust it's there. I'm hurting now, but I won't feel this way forever. The light you find in difficult moments isn't always bright. Sometimes it's soft, dim, fragile, but it's real. And it's enough to help you take the next step. You don't have to find the whole light. You just have to find a little of it. One small moment of hope is enough to change the meaning of everything. Asterisk, asterisk. Changing the way you think doesn't mean forcing yourself to ignore reality. It doesn't mean pretending everything's perfect or putting a smile over a hurting heart. A positive mindset isn't a performance. It's a practice, one that begins softly, quietly, slowly. And the good news is, you don't need to change your entire mind at once. You only need to shift it by a small degree, in a gentle direction. Just enough to let a little more light in. Here are a few ways to begin, not by pressure, but by understanding first. Start with awareness, not judgment before you can shift a thought. You have to see it clearly. Most negative thoughts don't shout. They slip in quietly. I'm not doing enough. Everything is getting worse. I can't handle this. What if it all goes wrong? When you notice a negative thought, don't push it away. Don't scold yourself for having it. Just acknowledge it as it is. Oh, this is a fearful thought. This is my mind trying to protect me. Awareness is the doorway. Judgment is the wall. Choose the doorway, because once you see the thought, you are no longer controlled by it. Second, ask gentle questions. You don't need to fight negative thoughts. You just need to soften them. Try asking yourself, is this the only possible interpretation? What else might be true? What would I say to a friend who felt this way? Is my mind trying to protect me or scare me? These questions don't deny your feelings. They just loosen the grip of the negative story. When you ask the right questions, your mind stops spiraling and starts breathing again. Third, shift. From catastrophe to curiosity. The mind loves dramatic conclusions. One mistake means everything is ruined. One bad day means life is falling apart. Instead of jumping to the worst case, try shifting into curiosity. I wonder how this will turn out. I wonder what I'll learn from this. I wonder what unexpected good might come. Curiosity opens the heart. Fear closes it. And any moment that opens you is already healing you. Fourth, practice. Neutral thinking. You don't always need to think positively. Sometimes, positive thinking feels too far away when your mind is overwhelmed. Aim for neutral instead of positive. For example, instead of everything will be perfect, you can say, I'm doing my best, and that's enough for today. Instead of I'm amazing, you can say, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm human. Neutral thinking is a bridge. It gently carries you from fear toward hope. You don't have to jump. You can walk. Fifth, create micro moments of gratitude. Gratitude isn't about big achievements. Sometimes the deepest gratitude comes from the smallest things. A warm cup of tea, sunlight on the wall, a quiet breath, a peaceful minute alone, a message from someone who cares, a moment where everything didn't fall apart. These micro moments rewire the brain over time. Not by force, but by repetition. Every time you notice something good, no matter how small, you teach your mind to look for light again. Sixth, watch the language you use with yourself. The words you speak internally shape the way you experience the world. Notice the difference between I always mess up versus I made a mistake, but I can try again. Or nothing ever works out versus some things didn't work out, but others will. Your inner language is like the tone of your relationship with yourself. Speak to your mind like you would speak to someone you love, gently, patiently, with compassion. Seventh, slow down before making meaning when something bad happens. The mind rushes to interpret it. This is a sign. This is a failure. This is the end. But meaning doesn't need to be created instantly. You can give yourself time. Try saying, I don't know what this means yet. And that's okay. This simple sentence takes away pressure and allows clarity to arrive naturally instead of forcefully. Often, the meaning becomes clear only after the heart has calmed down. Eighth, accept that you can hold two truths at once. Life is not black or white. You can feel afraid and still be brave. You can be uncertain and still move forward. You can struggle and still grow beautifully. You can grieve what you lost and still be grateful for what remains. Positive thinking is not choosing one emotion and rejecting the other. It's allowing everything to exist without letting the negative take over. This is emotional maturity. This is inner balance. This is strength. Ninth, take one thought at a time. You don't need to heal your entire mind today. You don't need to fix every fear or every doubt. Just take one thought, one moment, one breath. Shift it by 1 degree. Soften it by 1 tone. Replace one harsh sentence with something kinder. And tomorrow, repeat. A positive mindset isn't a destination. It's a direction. And every gentle thought you choose is a small step toward a life that feels lighter, clearer, calmer. Positivity isn't about pretending the dark isn't there. It's about remembering that the light is here too, and learning to choose it intentionally. Not perfectly, but gently. Asterisk, not all at once, but little by little. This is how the mind changes. This is how you change, quietly, patiently, beautifully. If there is one thing that shapes the way you see the world more than anything else, it is this: the way you speak to yourself. Your inner voice is always with you. It's there when you wake up, when you make decisions, when you face challenges. And when you lie awake at night thinking about all the things left unsaid and all the things left undone, some people grow up with an inner voice that is gentle, encouraging, and warm. But many of us, far more than we realize, grow up with an inner voice that criticizes, doubts, or judges. And over time, that voice becomes so familiar that we mistake it for the truth. But here's something important to remember. Your inner voice was learned, and anything learned can be relearned. Your inner voice is the lens of your life. If your inner voice is harsh, the world feels harsh. If your inner voice is impatient, the world feels overwhelming. If your inner voice is unforgiving, every mistake feels like a collapse. But if your inner voice is gentle, the world begins to soften. If your inner voice is encouraging, challenges feel manageable. If your inner voice is loving, you begin to feel safe in your own life. Your thoughts don't just describe the world, they create it. From the inside out. This is why thinking positively is not about forcing optimism. It's about nurturing a kinder relationship with the mind that speaks within you, negative. Self-talk comes from old pain. No one is born speaking harshly to themselves. That voice came from somewhere. Maybe it came from a parent who expected too much. Maybe it came from a teacher who criticized more than they guided. Maybe it came from society telling you who you should be. Maybe it came from years of comparing yourself to people who were never on the same path as you. Self-talk is inherited, but healing it is your choice. When a negative thought about yourself appears, it is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of the pain you've carried. And once you understand that, you can stop believing every harsh sentence your mind says about you. You can pause and whisper within, this voice comes from an old wound, not from who I truly am. The voice inside you can become a friend. Imagine if your inner voice spoke to you like someone who genuinely cared. Someone who said, it's okay. You're trying, you're learning, you're growing. You don't have to get it right the first time. You're allowed to rest. You're doing better than you think. Imagine waking up with that voice. Imagine working with that voice. Imagine facing challenges with that voice. Imagine falling asleep with that voice. Your life would feel different, even if nothing else changed. That's the quiet power of speaking kindly to yourself. How do you begin nurturing a gentler inner voice? Here are a few soft practices, not rules, not demands, just gentle invitations. First, replace self-criticism with observation. Instead of I messed up again, try I notice I'm struggling with this, and that's okay. Observation creates space. Criticism closes it. Second, talk to yourself as you would talk to a child or loved one. If someone you care about failed, fell behind, or felt lost, you wouldn't insult them. You'd comfort them. Give yourself that same softness. Third, use gentle truths instead of extreme statements. Harsh voice, I never do anything right. Gentle truth, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. Harsh voice, no one respects me. Gentle truth, some people didn't treat me well, but that doesn't define my worth. Harsh voice, my life is a mess. Gentle truth, I'm in a transition, and that's okay. Fourth, celebrate small wins, even the tiny ones. Finished a task. Acknowledge it. Choose kindness. Honor it. Showed up today even when tired. Celebrate it. Your inner voice grows softer through recognition, not perfection. Your inner voice becomes your life companion. You spend your entire life with yourself. every moment, every breath, every thought, so the quality of your inner voice becomes the quality of your life. You deserve a companion inside you who supports your healing, who believes in your ability to change, who speaks with patience even on the days you don't feel your best. You deserve an inner voice that lifts you quietly instead of pulling you down. And the truth is, that voice already lives within you. It may be buried, softened, overshadowed, but it's there. It's the voice that whispers, "I want to try again. I don't want to give up. There must be a better way for me. I deserve gentleness." That voice is your true self, trying to come home to you. So remember this. Thinking positively starts with speaking softly. Not to the world, not to others, but to yourself. Be the voice that comforts you. Be the voice that guides you. Be the voice that reminds you that you are enough, that you're learning, that your mistakes don't diminish you. Because when your inner voice becomes kinder, your whole world becomes lighter. And that is where positive thinking truly begins inside you. One gentle word at a time. Asterisk, asterisk, as we come to the end of this journey together. I want you to pause for a moment and notice something small but incredibly important. You're not the same person who pressed play at the beginning of this episode. Maybe the changes are soft, subtle, almost invisible, but they're there. Your mind feels a little clearer. Your heart feels a little lighter. And somewhere deep inside, there's a quiet shift, a new openness, a new softness, a new possibility. Because every time you learn to understand your thoughts, every time you choose a gentler perspective, every time you speak to yourself with kindness, you reshape the world inside you. And when the world inside you changes, the world outside begins to change. 2. A positive mindset doesn't create a perfect life, but it creates a clearer one. Life will still bring challenges. People will still disappoint you sometimes. Plans will still shift. And unexpected moments will still appear. But you will meet those moments differently. You will breathe before reacting. You will pause before spiraling. You will look for the light instead of assuming the dark. You will understand that feelings are waves, not definitions. That a hard day is not a hard life. That you can feel fear and still move forward anyway. And slowly, gently, beautifully, the world begins to feel less heavy. Not because it becomes easier, but because you become softer without becoming weaker and stronger without becoming harder. That is the real gift of a positive mind, that you begin to see there used to be frustration. Instead of "why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "what is this moment teaching me?" Instead of "I can't handle this," you begin to whisper, "this is difficult, but I've handled difficult things before." Instead of "everything is going wrong," you start noticing the little things that are going right, and life becomes more livable, present, gentle. Not because you erase the negative, but because you gave the positive a place to stand. Positive thinking is not a mask. It's a method. It's a way of living that doesn't deny reality, but chooses the parts of reality that help you grow instead of the parts that hold you down. It's knowing you can acknowledge your sadness without letting it bury you. You can face your fears without letting them control you. You can see the obstacles without losing sight of the possibilities. You begin to understand that you are not powerless. Your perspective has power. Your inner voice has power. Your attention has power. And the more you practice this gentle shift, the more natural it becomes. Every thought is a doorway. You get to choose which one you walk through at any moment. Your mind can take you into fear or into hope, into doubt or into curiosity, into panic or into presence. You don't have to choose the brightest doorway, just the one that feels a little lighter than the last dot. And with each small choice, you build a new world inside you, a world where you can breathe, where you can think clearly, where you can trust yourself again, a world where positivity is not something forced, but something felt. This is your new way of seeing the world, not through denial, not through perfection, but through presence, through awareness, through softness. The world may not change overnight, but your relationship with it will, and that is enough. That is where transformation begins, because when you think differently, you feel differently. When you feel differently, you move differently. And when you move differently, your entire life begins to shift, one gentle thought at a time. So, as you step back into your day, carry this with you. You don't have to think perfectly. You don't have to be upbeat all the time. You don't have to force positivity. You only need to remember that there is always another way to see what's in front of you. A softer way, a kinder way, a lighter way. And that way is always available to you, anytime, anywhere, in any situation. This is your new beginning. A new way to see the world, and a new way to see yourself. And you're already doing it. You're already changing, quietly, gently, beautifully.